Hello and welcome to Good or Bad. It's time for another cheap horror B-movie review, so let's waste no time and dive right into Humanoids from the Deep. The film kicks off with... Actually, you know what? I'm not going to tell you what this is obviously a carbon copy of. I'm going to let you work it out. It's not that hard. After the usual sea monster movie opening of a fisherman complaining about a lack of fish in the sea, we jump to some fishermen that think they have caught a fish. But guess what? In a shocking turn of events, it turns out to be a humanoid sea monster's hand! Okay, so there's a few fishermen here, and one of them has their son with them. Well, clichés dictate that everybody else dies a horrible death and the kid lives on. Okay, the kid dies first. Well, good for you, movie, going your own way. And then the rest of them die. Before the boy fell overboard, he dropped a fuel can, and this guy readies a flare gun, I guess to signal for help, but then he trips up and boom. I do like that all we saw here was the creature's hand. It really does build up suspense for seeing the rest of the creature. Or creatures. Gotta pay attention to that title. Our main character, Jim Hill, played by Doug McClure, sees the explosion from his own boat. Then back at his home he tells the sheriff what happened. Funny thing to do, report multiple deaths while playing with your kid. Well, I guess in his family nothing comes before playtime. The kid suddenly runs off crying. Could it be because they were talking about people exploding to death? The dog then senses something and runs off outside to investigate. Wow, they killed the dog? I mean, yeah, okay, they killed a kid, but that's just a kid. When a movie kills a dog, you know it's not messing around. In fact, if this is how fast it's progressing up the seriosometer, I'm going to have to keep track of it. The next day they go out looking for the dog and Jim finds a weird slimy trail, so he follows it all the way to the beach where they find what's left of the dog covered in seaweed. Now we move on to Hank, played by Vic Morrow, where he stumbles across, holy crap, more dead dogs. I think I might just run out of space on my seriosometer at this rate. It's now time for the town's dancing night, but before the dancing begins there's a special announcement. The town is having a new cannery built. Now that's out of the way, let the dancing commence. Oh look, everyone is having such a nice time, but then Johnny Eagle, played by Anthony Pena, walks in with his... Oh good lord, another dead dog. See, we're past dead kid, we're past dead dog, we're past several dead dogs lying on a dock, and now we're on to dead dog in owner's arms. My god, this movie can't get any more serious. Okay, so we discover a rivalry between Hank and Johnny. Johnny wants to stop Hank building the new cannery so he can protect his fishing privileges. Or protect the environment. Sorry, is that too dramatic? I'm just trying to make summarising this movie's sleep-inducing plot a bit more interesting. So with several dogs belonging to Hank and his friends already dead, they seem to think Johnny did it. But now with Johnny's dog dead, he thinks Hank did it for revenge. But we know better. The sea monsters did it. But I bet you're all thinking it's just a random act of violence on the sea monster's part. So naive. Now, what is really going on here is the sea monsters are really intelligent and they're playing the two rivals off against each other. And then at the end they're going to swoop in and build Sea Monsters Hotel! Why? It could happen. Shut up. So Hank kicks him out of the party and goes out to teach him a lesson, which results in a punch-up with several guys getting involved, and I love this. There's a couple making out in the car. The guy pokes his head out of the window to see what's going on, and... smack! Then the sheriff stops the fight, and the next day Hank goes snooping around Johnny Eagle's fishing environmentalist crew. Anyway, he overhears that they have a good case to stop the new cannery, and that's really it. We now move on to a scene at the beach. The couple from earlier are making out on the beach. Well, I guess their fates are sealed. They're going to die. I mean, since this is an 80s horror movie, I'm surprised a monster didn't pop out from the driver's seat in this scene. And you might be thinking, but maybe the movie won't abide by the killing sexually active characters rule. Well, if it was just the fact that they were sexually active, I would agree. But what you don't know is that earlier in the movie, the guy scared the crap out of his girlfriend, which means they have to die. Nothing overrides that rule. And sure enough, they go off to a discreet location, but to be honest, it was probably just because that person was staring at them the entire time. Then they get in the water and the guy gets his face chewed off. Then the girl gets dragged away and the sea monster is... What the hell? Don't do that! No! Why are you doing that? Don't do that to her! You're a sea monster, you're meant to kill her! Not do that! Okay, let me just clarify and explain what's happening here. The sea monster is raping the girl. Yeah, I'm not going to show the clip for obvious reasons. Trust me, you do not want to see it. I'm not going to sleep for a week now. And yeah, it's raping her. Instead of showing the clip, what we must do is consult the seriosometer. So, really? 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 Sea monster raping girl is not as serious as dead dog? How serious is it? Okay, apparently it's just a little bit more serious than killing a kid, but not as serious as a dog dying. What about if it was a ferret? Not as serious as a ferret dying. Hank is having a drink with his, crew? Gang? People? No, I know. Nameless moronic characters that we couldn't care less about. I think that name's most appropriate. Anyway, he is telling them about Johnny's plan to stop the cannery, but honestly, who gives a crap? It's a film about sea monsters. You don't go to see a film about monsters to see whether a cannery gets built. You go to see monsters eating people! And people getting dragged down to the depths and drowned and... Ugh. Unfortunately, the movie does show us a little more than that, but we don't care to see that. Actually, I know why the rape was included. It was to shock us so much that we forgot about the cannery plot, so we wouldn't realise how stupid it was. Yeah, well, you didn't fool me. After more discussions about who wants this cannery being built, the monster attacks another couple having sex, and again, kills the guy and does the girl. It's just ew. You know, ugh. Hank prepares to attack Johnny's cabin, but because those two are getting friendly, the sea monster shows up and lies in wait. Hank's guys then throw a Molotov cocktail at the cabin, and oh wow, that was a big explosion. Was the cabin surrounded by flammable gas? Johnny tries to put the fire out while Tommy shoots at Hank, who is making his escape, but then he is pulled into the water by the sea monster. Johnny manages to save him, but he is badly hurt. The girl that Tommy was with decided to drive away, but then she is attacked. That reminds me of something. Can I just check something real quick? So, Raptor, we meet again. Couldn't just take scenes from Carnosaur, could you? Oh, no. It had to take the car explosion scene from this film as well. In fact, it's not just that, is it? It takes the soundtrack from Humanoids from the Deep and plays it several points in Raptor as well. So, yeah, you know, I could handle... Actually, I didn't. I handled that quite badly. But, you know, in hindsight, I could handle you taking scenes from Carnosaur because Carnosaur is part of this, isn't it? Yeah. But Humanoids from the Deep is nothing to do with Carnosaur, so taking it from another franchise completely... There's only one thing stopping me from going completely apeshit crazy right now, and that is because I'm not reviewing Raptor. That's done. Yeah. I'm reviewing Humanoids from the Deep, so I will just have to settle with this. I hate you, Raptor. I hate you. I hate you so much. So, we're going to take this film. I'm going to put it behind me. Never mention it again. Johnny tells the sheriff what happened. Then Jim and Johnny go out looking for these things, accompanied by professional scientist, Dr. Susan Drake. Sorry, the characters in this film are just so bland, it's hard to actually remember names.
Like this?
That's pretty close, but the head, it's much bigger.
They must have developed more than I figured. And maybe more intelligent.
See? Intelligence. Come on, Sea Monsters Hotel. Jim questions her about how much she really knows about these things, but she ignores the questions and starts talking about the caves, which they then head to, and then they find sea monsters! I know, it's surprising. I was thinking there'd be a cannery convention. They start shooting at the sea monsters, despite the good doctor telling them not to, and I have to say, those costumes and effects are really well done. They find one of the women in the sea monster's nest and then bring back one of the dead sea monsters for an autopsy. It turns out that the Doctor has been theorising that these things exist due to top secret scientific backfires that went missing, but no one has ever listened to her. Oh, isn't that always the way? She explains that the creatures evolved to the extent that they became intelligent enough to see man as competition, and even explains that they are driven to mate with humans to continue their evolution. But come on, that's no reason for rape. Did they even try online dating? It might work. They worry that the monsters will attack during the town's festival, so they hurry on over there and warn the people, but then they attack. Which results in lots and lots of people running around, screaming and getting killed. Jim has a plan and sails out while the Doctor sprays oil into the water. Hank then risks his life to save a girl, but then after he saves her, a monster starts attacking him, but Johnny saves him. Oh look, two rivals working together. Things like this always bring a smile to my face. Don't crap the actual smile. Now the Doctor fires a flare gun into the oil, which lights the place up and stops the creatures from surfacing. So more panicking happens, but then some guys figure out what to do, which is honestly the funniest way to kill a sea monster ever.
Dickhead here! He's still going! Get him! Come on, get him!
Tell me that is not a cartoon sound effect. Jim sails off to make sure his wife Carol is safe, but she doesn't need saving. She's the most badass character here. Just watch. See? Badass! He goes to make sure she is alright and almost gets stabbed for his troubles. The sun rises and they go to see the damage at the fairground. Then we cut to one of the women the monsters impregnated give birth. Alien style. So that was Humanoids from the Deep. And maybe you're thinking, why hasn't he even mentioned the creatures from the Black Lagoon yet? Well, it's because I wanted to review this film as a film on its own, not as an unofficial remake of The Creature from the Black Lagoon, which I will explore that side of this movie in the review for The Creature from the Black Lagoon, which will happen maybe not next week, maybe not the week after, maybe it won't even happen at all, but I'd like it to. But anyway, what can I say about this movie? It's cheesy, it's dumb, it's kinda gross, but it's just an 80s horror movie. And there's only really one thing left to say. What about the cannery?